Hey, what's going on, everybody? Titus here after my YCS Minneapolis experience. I'll go over the deck I played, along with my matchups, and kind of overall how the day went. Spoilers, didn't hit top 32, didn't get to day 2. So the way the YCS works is you have to have a certain amount of points based on your Swiss rounds to get to day 2, and then you get to top cut, and then that's your top cut goes into finals. And so I went X3 by round 7. It was a wild day. So as soon as you hit X3, you can no longer get 19 points, which then means you can't get to day 2. So we'll go over the deck list, and I'll go over my matchups, and we'll kind of go from there. Overall, I really like how the deck performed. I'm playing Tearlaments with Bystial and Branded and High Spirits. So the Branded and High Spirits package is right here. We have High Spirits, plus the searchable Cartesia off the Spirits, and then we play another target in the Albion, the Shrouded Dragon. This actually came up. The problem is if you open the Cartesia, you can no longer brand in High Spirits because you don't have a target, and so having the Albion in the deck makes it so that it's possible to do so. And if you were to open both of these plus a High Spirits, you can just dump this back into deck and then draw a card and then activate the High Spirits anyway. And so it makes it so that the combo is always technically live. So this will go into the Baron DeFleur plays, which I can show off here in a second. So 5 cards for that package. Of course, we have the Tearlament package. We have the 3 planets plus terraforming, so technically, you're playing 4 planet because terraforming just searches planet. This is not playing Mystic Mind, so this is only to search planet. The 3 Rhino Hearts. Absolutely. The 3 Shirens, of course. The 3 Havness. And the best one, the 3 Merrily. I say this is the best one because of the cards in your extra deck. This makes Sprend, this makes Elf. So we are playing 3 of each Tearlament. Of course, that's pretty standard right now, with most to all lists playing 3 of every single Tearlament card. We're playing 1 Scream. Most of the top lists actually played 2 to 3 of this card. I like this card. It's really good. I didn't play more of it because I wanted to stay below 4. I wanted to stay below 42. I played 41, and it was super consistent. But like moving this to 42 or some of the other hand trap lineup stuff, I think would be also really good. Playing this deck at like 44 would probably be okay, just because it has consistency with how many mills it has. So Scream was really good this weekend. It was very, very popular. It was a really, really good card. D1 Solic. Again, I would move this to 2 and maybe play the counter trap as well because of Scream. Because when you mill Scream, you get to add a trap back from grave. So milling multiple of this, or 1 of this and 1 of this, you just get to add this back. And so more consistency to have Solic for control would be really, really good, since I'm playing a more hand trap control oriented version of the deck. And of course, we're playing another Kit Kalos with Instant Fusion. But again, per my last deck profile, this is so much more. It can make Mud Dragon, which then you can overlay with a level 4, make a Beast Dweller, which is really, really good. So this card's crazy. I don't understand how this card's not banned. This card's just insane. We're playing some consistency pieces. Of course, we're playing Desires. I would almost cut this to make room for more stuff. It didn't come up at all. And when I did draw 2, I just drew like another Branded High Spirits. There was one time I activated this and drew 2 Branded High Spirits. So I was like, cool, yay, I actually can't play the game. Another one I activated this, I drew High Spirits plus Merrily, and so I already comboed off. I was looking for more hand traps, more for than combo. And so like this really didn't come up, and I don't see a lot of top lists playing this. I would need to go and review, but I think this card could be cut, to be completely honest with you. Now for some of the like hand trap interaction pieces, we played 1 Druis Worm, so Bystial Druis Worm, and 2 Magnamute. Should probably play 3 Magnamute, to be completely honest. This card is just insane. It was insane all day. being able to banish their tier monsters or their blue that they're targeting off of the elf or anything like that. So basically what this card does, if you're not familiar with the Bystial monsters, they target a light or dark in either graveyard, banish it to summon, and that's the condition. They have to banish the card to summon themselves. So it can also have some counterplay, basically. Like, if you mill your light or dark and they target a Bystial in the grave, you can target the same Bystial or same light or dark with your Bystial in your hand and banish it, and yours will summon and theirs will not, because you were chain link 2. So chain link 2 because there's chain resolves backwards. So these cards are crazy. Like, they can make Curious if you're playing Curious because they're all darks with the rest of your deck, but they're different attributes, you know, and they're different names. Or not different attributes, different types. They're really, really good. Magna Searching, Druid Worm. Druid Worm, when sent to grave from the field, sends a special summon monster. So it's an out to Avermax, technically, because it just gets to send. It doesn't target, and it doesn't destroy. It just sends. So, like, I almost want to play 2 and 2, to be completely honest, just because this card is just super, super good, along with this, being able to search this. So these cards were everywhere at the YCS, and I would highly recommend playing them. These cards are really, really good. Maybe even side these and then main deck Gammas is something I'm thinking of doing. So I like those cards a lot. They were killer for me all weekend. This is another killer card. This is the best hand trap in the game right now, in my opinion. Stopping Elf, stopping Gigantic, stopping Kit Kalos from resolving. Infinite Impermanence just negate the Kit Kalos, and they kind of like have to like think about what they're going to do next. This card's just crazy good. I love that card all weekend. This is another card that went really hard for me this weekend. Bell. Ghost Bell. I stopped 2 Called by the Graves with this card this weekend. They had the 1-ofs, hand trap, power, whatever you want to call it, power 1-ofs, and so I would just like ash them or do something of the sort, and they would be like, oh, Called by. I'm like, all right, Bell, resolve. So, because you can't banish from the graveyard when you activate Bell, so it stops the Called by the Grave. Really, really good card. Stops their Bystial monsters, stops their tier monsters, stops a bunch of stuff, stops them from summoning Elf with Elf from grave. This card was insane. I highly recommend playing it. Well, until Ishizu comes out, basically. That card was just super good for me. Of course, we're playing Ash Blossom. Not a lot of people are playing this card, but if this is just... So this gets sided out a decent amount. But there's a lot of Despia branded. There's a lot of Despia running around. I played against a Despia branded player, and I had the Ash for the branded fusion. I just ashed it, and he passed, and I just killed him the next turn. This card is just really, really, really good for that. When we're moving into an Ishizu format with Ishizu tier going around, this card is probably cuttable, just because Ishizu tier deals with most things anyway. Also, Root Kalos deals with branded fusion, so you have several more outs. So Ash is getting a little bit less favorable, but still pretty good card. And then, of course, the big board breaker, the Super Poly. This was not in my last profile video, but I am playing it now because of Root Kalos. A Root Kalos plus Abyss Dweller, you get to Super Poly them. Because your turn player, when you draw for turn, your turn player, you get to Super Poly them into Mud Dragon, because they're different types but same attribute. So if they summon Root Kalos plus Abyss Dweller, you just Super Poly them away. So this is really, really useful for not getting Dwellered. Extra deck. 2 Kit Kalos. I like 2. I never really felt like I needed 2, but I did like 2. We're playing Root Kalos. I got a German swap because it's darker than the rest of the other ones. You can see it's very nice. This card was insane all day. Ending on Root Kalos plus Baron de Fleur was like just really, really difficult for a lot of decks to play against. And like the mirror, if they're not playing the High Spirits version, it was very difficult for them to deal with, per se. So like this card's just very, very good. If you don't know what it does, it takes a tier element name plus Kit Kalos, and then it's basically Solemn Warning. And so you tribute a tier monster to negate an effect or card that would special summon a monster. And so she can tribute herself if she likes, and then if she was sent to the graveyard by a card effect, she gets to special summon back, right? But if you end on like her plus Baron plus like a Merely or a Shiren or a Havness or something here, basically, or you have Havness in hand, you activate Havness on their turn, it special summons, mills 3, you miss, and then you have Havness, you can just activate Rukalos, send the Havness, and then you get to fuse with the Havness at the end there, and then you still get to negate the effect to summon. So this card was just crazy all weekend. This card's nuts, but it is only a 1-of, luckily, so it's really pretty cheap card right now. The mandatory 1-of Kaleido Heart. He's big, he's beefy, he protects the ladies. He is a good card. Outs your opponent's Kaleido Hearts, your opponent's other problematic cards. The Baron DeFleur draw card. This card was nuts just because of the combo. I will show you in a minute. Dragostapelia, and then a Mud Dragon. Mud Dragon was really, really nice because you can make Mud Dragon off of a Bystial in your grave plus a Tear because they're 2 darks, and then you just make a Mud Dragon. Baron DeFleur. Crazy. Good stuff. And then an Abyss Dweller, of course. This is the OTK to Tear. And then Sprite Elf and Sprite Sprint. Make this off of Merly, summon the Merly back, mill 3. Make this off the Merly, that you special summon off your Kit Kalos, send another Merly, and then you get to fusion summon. These cards were crazy good all weekend. I love these cards. They were really, really good. Another link too is the Gumi. Summon it, take one of your opponent's things, like their IP or their elf. You can use their elf and then like special summon something, and then you can make a unicorn, which is really, really good. This card was decent, but not everything. I really only went into it one time. I don't think it was even necessary to play, but it's nice to have. So for another link, we have Borreload. This is to out Avermax made with IP from Sprite players. So the hard part is that they make Avermax with IP, you can't target it, and you can't destroy it because of IP. And then you can't attack over it because it activates a damage calc to gain, so you'll always take 3,000 damage if you attack into it. But if you do Borreload and you attack into it, and you activate Borreload's effect, it doesn't target, it just takes, and then it summons it on your side of the field, then you have an Avermax summoned by IP on your side of the field. And so it's like really, really good for that instance where you want to take the IP, but take the Avermax. Didn't have to go into it because I didn't play very many sprites. I played 1 sprite player, and that was about it. I played mostly Tear mirrors for the most part, so it was good. And then I played my own Avermax. I would cut this. I would cut this for access code. I think access code would be significantly better. Maybe even another Dragostapelia or something that was more impactful, because I never made that card one time at all. It was not useful. But again, I didn't play against very many sprites, so I didn't have time to test it to see if it would be useful. For the side deck, we're playing 3 anti-spell, 3 evenly match. Oh, Gamma. Pankatops. My spicy tech that I didn't get to reveal in Omaha. Again, didn't play against very many Sprite, but Sprite can Ibly lock you, and then Tear can't actually play the game. And so this is a link 1 to out the Ibly if you really, really need it. I didn't get it summoned on me, but I did see my buddy summon an Ibly on somebody, and they couldn't out it, and they lost the game. So this was really, really for the Ibly combo. And then 3 Cosmic Cyclone for Mine, but I didn't play against any Mine. Not to say that there wasn't any Mystic Mine burn. Shout out to Johnny, Asian Persuasion. He was playing Mystic Mine burn all day. He got to day 2, and then he lost at day 2. So it was pretty funny to see people playing that. So let's look at the let's look at this combo here. We're gonna get a name plus a High Spirits, and then we're gonna grab a searchable off of Kit Kalos. So this is the combo here. If in your hand is 2 cards, you need a Tearlament fusion. So one of the girls, Merely, Sharon, or Havness, and then Brandon and High Spirits. And then you can do all of this in draw phase, so that they can't droll you. So draw phase, you activate Brandon and High Spirits. You reveal your Aqua girl. So we're going to reveal Sharon. You send Rukalos to then send the Chiron to the grave to search the Cartesia. Okay, so now we have Cartesia in hand, right? And then Chiron will activate, fusing with the Rukalos and the Chiron to make a Kitkalos. Okay, and then the Kitkalos will add another name that we can fuse with, so we'll add the Havness. And then, of course, this goes to grave. And so our hand looks like this, plus we have 3 other cards in hand, basically. Because we used 2 with our Chiron, plus our High Spirits. We got the Cartesia, and then we search off the kit. So we have 3 in hand, extra in hand. And then you normal summon the Cartesia. You activate the Cartesia effect, fusing with the in hand and the Kit Kalos here. You go ahead and summon the Rule Kalos. And then you activate Chainlink 1 Havness to fusion summon. Chainlink 2 Kit Kalos to mill 5. So you mill the 5, and then you go ahead and fuse with these 2 monsters, the Kit Kalos and the Havness, to make the Garura. And then you use, because this is a tuner, you use this and this to make Baron de Fleur. So in that instance, we would have been able to mill 5, and then when Garua gets sent to grave, we get to draw a card. So we still have 3 cards in hand because we special summon with this, and we used a Havness, so that would have put us down to 3 cards. Then we draw a card. So we actually have 4 cards in hand. Then we have an Omni negate and a special summon negate, and we would have milled 5 from the Kit Kalos. I didn't show this, but we would have milled 5 with the Kit Kalos. And so you can set your trap cards, and then at the end phase, Cartesia activates because Garura got sent to grave and sends back to your hand. So even if you use your entire hand, or your entire hand is hand traps, say you sit a Super Poly, you have hand traps in hand, you will always have a Cartesia to discard off of the Super Poly because Cartesia will add herself back because the Garura got sent to grave that turn, because it does see the send. I had a judge call in the very first game because he thought it wouldn't see the send, and it does. The judge ruled that it sees it, and then I lose that game in time because the judge call took a while. So my matchups were, my first game was against Brave Sprite. He won game 1, I won game 2, and then game 3 I was in a winning position, but time was called, which was really just kind of unfortunate. It is what it is there. 45 minutes, and I still went to time with a player, which could have been a little bit my fault. This was a new deck list I was playing, so I wasn't exactly familiar with it. So I lost to time, but I had everything for his entire setup. Game 2, I lost against Floowandereeze, because, D-Shifter. He D-Shifted me, I played through it, but my hand was Bell, Imperm, and then a Rhino Heart, or normal Rhino Heart, I activated it. He D-Shifted me, and then I couldn't out-grind him at that point. He didn't have a great hand, but I didn't draw well. I drew High Spirits, was dead, and then I drew, I think, the Cartesia or the Albion or something, and drew into another High Spirits, and it didn't do anything for me. He was able to combo off, because I impermed him once, he passed. I impermed him again, he had Book of Moon, and so he was able to just keep playing. And then I won 4 in a row. I played against the Tier Mirror with High Spirits. I beat them. I played against Branded Tier. I beat them. I played against Madolce. I beat him. That game was crazy. That game went to game 3. And it came down to, I went first, and I had Rule plus the Omni, and then he discarded 2 cards. He summoned this guy I've never seen before. I impermed it. In a column right here, I impermed it. And then he did he discarded 1 card plus a whatever they're called, to add 1 from grave, or to add 1 and then special 1 from grave. I negated that with Baron. He did it again to summon from deck, I negated with Rule Kalos. He tributed the guy for cost. Even though it was negated, it tributes for cost. And then he tried to evenly match me, but he put the evenly match in the imperm column, and it negated the evenly matched. And so he just shook hands. I felt bad for him on that one. That leads me to my last match with a Bisted Tier Chaos branded players, a 52 card deck, and I got sacked, I think, on that one. I just got Yu-Gi-Oh'd, basically. I just got Yu-Gi-Oh'd. My 41 card deck going first, I won. We had a judge call because of some game state stuff. We both received PE minors because of an illegal search on my part, but then he tried to argue and then appealed that it would change game state. It didn't change game state at all. Basically what happened is you can't search Magnamoot off of Magnamoot. This is my first time playing with these cards. I thought it worked very similar to the Kashtira Fenrir, which you will know can search itself. That's why that card's crazy. Magnamoot can't search Magnamoot. Magnamoot can only search Druid's Worm or the other ones. So I searched Magnamoot off Magnamoot, and so it didn't actually change the ratios at all because I only play 3. He argued that it would change because my draw for turn could have been Magnamoot, but I search in his end phase, so I search for Druid's Worm, and then the ratio is exactly the same. So it didn't change game state. I killed him on that turn. That was game 1. Then game 2, he popped off, and all I needed was an evenly match. All I needed was an evenly match in a 41 card deck. I didn't see it. I didn't see a single going second card in my 41. And then I went first on the next game, and he saw 3 going second cards in a 52 card deck. And so I just got Yu-Gi-Oh'd. Is kind of how it went. But that's okay. I had fun. Had a great time with my boys. Shout out to my boys. Ate some amazing food. Met some really cool people. Met some only okay people. There was a couple of them there, but met some really, really cool people as well. And so this is the profile before the Ishizu stuff comes out. I did order a bunch of cases of Mavens, so we will open those on the channel. But thanks everybody for watching the profile, and I will see you again in the next one. Happy dueling, everybody.